Hey, what's up, guys? So Valorant is dropping tomorrow, and we are being blessed with Ranked not coming out when the actual full release of the game comes out. You know, it's kind of hard to call it a full release of the game when there are some parts of the game that aren't even releasing. But I think it's a really good thing that the game isn't dropping with Ranked. Number one, it gives the developers time to get some of the kinks worked out before, you know, the actual competitive side of the game comes out. And number two, and most importantly, it gives people a chance to really hone, you know, what they, you know, hone their skills of the game, hone their sensitivity and their aim down, and find out what operators they want to use and stuff like that before they hop right into Ranked. I know that I, in the past with other games, have had an issue where, you know, as soon as I get those 25 games done, or 20 games, or how many ever it is in the game to be able to go play Ranked, I just hop right into it. And that's fine to a certain extent, right? Ranked is in my personal opinion, you know, the competitive scene of any game is a lot more fun than the casual side. So I want to play the competitive side as much as possible. But one thing that I see happen a lot is people get stuck in the low ranks, you know, for Valorant, Iron, Bronze, even Silver, when they don't really need to be, because they just hop right into Ranked and just solo queue right in, and they don't have all of their, you know, all of their skills really honed down before they're hopping in. And if you don't care what rank you are, that's fine. To be completely honest, it's not that big of a deal to me what rank I'm playing, because if I get, you know, if I'm low rank but I'm doing really well, then I'm gonna slowly build up and you know, and rank up to what rank I technically should be, you know, I guess you could say. And if I get placed high, you know, then I'll have a lot of competitive games, and you know, again, the more games you play, the closer to what rank you truly are, you know, you'll end up there. That being said, though, you know, if you don't get ranked in the right spot necessarily, it's going to take a while, you know, especially if you get ranked lower than you should be. You know, it's going to take you a while to get up to that playing field, because, you know, there's a lot more factors than just you in a game of competitive. You know, you have all your teammates and who you're playing against and how you're playing at the time. You know, there's just a lot of things to worry about. But if you are worried about what rank you are, or if you in the beta were, you know, ranked pretty low and you want to figure out how to get out of it, you know, there are like 5 billion videos on YouTube. You know, everybody wants their money right now, so everybody's making videos on how to get out of Iron, how to get out of Bronze, and I'm going to do the exact same thing. But the difference is, when I see other people's videos about it, they talk about the same thing over and over and over again. It's always crosshair placement and sensitivity and just these very, very broad, you know, over-the-counter type of arguments that can be said about any game, right? I think everybody knows about crosshair placement, right? Have your crosshair where an enemy would be. Don't be aiming. Don't be going around a corner and aiming at somebody's foot, right? That's not going to work out well. Like 9 times out of 10, you're going to lose that gunfight. It's just the way it is. Unless you have some crazy flicks, you're going to lose that gunfight. Okay. Sensitivity, it's personal preference, right? Don't go super crazy high. Figure out what works for you. For a general rule, 400 to 800 DPI works great. In-game sensitivity, anywhere between like 0.2 and 0.7 works. Right now, I think I'm using like a 0.8, or, you know, when the beta was going on, I was using a 0.8, slowly trying to bring it down. But for the most part, it's all personal preference. The things that I want to talk about, though, that I don't see a whole lot of people talk about, is positioning, right? Position yourself where you have fewer angles to check than the enemy does. When it comes to coming around a corner, or, you know, I'm just going to use an example. You know, if you're playing on Bind and you are on A site, right? Don't have yourself sitting up in heaven with your entire body exposed, watching every single possible angle, A short, U-haul, CT, showers, right? You're gonna lose that gunfight if someone peeks out, unless you get lucky, right? If you're playing against somebody who has the same level of skill that you do, and you're peeking all those angles, when someone does peek out of one of them, you're most likely gonna lose that gunfight, or at least you're gonna get tagged up and have to run away. Instead, position yourself where you're only looking at one, maybe two angles at a time. And if, let's say, you are the only person on that site, you know, kind of move around and peek one angle, and then, you know, change positions and peek a different angle. You know, set yourself up for success. And on the topic of positioning, I think everybody knows at this point about the way that angles in this game and Siege and really every game work. Most people attribute it to like peeker's advantage and stuff like that. But whoever is farther away from the angle that is being peeked is going to see the other person first, right? I'll throw up a little, you know, picture of it right now. Just one of those generic pictures, but just position yourself in the situation where you can get that kill. All right. Here are the things that people don't talk about a whole lot, though. Treat every game as you want to win it. I know that sounds stupid, but I've noticed a lot, yeah, especially solo queuing, hopping into, you know, games with some randoms, and people treat competitive modes very casually. And, you know, if your intent is to play the game casually, that's fine. They have created things like unranked for a reason, right? Go play those. But if you're actually trying to play ranked, you're trying to play competitively, and you're trying to rank up and do better and continue to improve your skills, then play the game as if you want to win it. Don't get mad. You know, don't rage and get irritated and get tilted, but play it as if you want to win the game with a level head. You know, if you get angry and then start getting aggressive, you know, that's probably one of the other big issues that I see. People getting hyper aggressive for no reason. In a game like Valorant, there are times where you want to catch your enemy off guard, especially like right off the start of a round or something. You want to get that quick angle, you know, get your quick pick, make it a 5 versus 4, and then run back. That's fine, but don't get hyper aggressive and just start peeking angles that you shouldn't. You know, for the most part, I think that the general rule is just play with a level head, right? You know, as long as you have a level head and you are really thinking about the consequences of what you might do, you'll end up playing better in the long run. And then I think one of the other really important things is playing confidently, right? You don't want to be over aggressive, but you also want to be confident. You know, go into every gunfight assuming that you're going to win that gunfight. Confidence goes a long way, in my opinion, in almost every single game. I remember when I used to play Rainbow Six Siege and I used to play Go 4s, you know, actual amateur competitive games, I would go into every single game assuming that I was better than the other person and assuming that I was going to win. And I didn't do it in a vocal way, in an egotistical way, you know. And I'm not the type of person to ever trash talk. That's not really my thing. But in my head, I am just automatically assuming that I am better than the other person, right? I'm going to win the gunfights. I'm going to have the crazy plays. I'm going to ace. You know, play as if you are the better player. You know, play as if you're the pro player. And it sounds stupid, but I guarantee you in the end it will work. And if you follow these little simple basic kind of general rules, you will do better, right? You will rank up. Now, of course, if you can play with a consistent squad instead of solo queuing into competitive matches, you know, obviously you're going to win more games. You're going to rank up quicker. But if you're just trying to get out of, you know, iron and bronze, I promise you, you can solo queue your way out of bronze. It is not that hard. I did it during the beta. You know, for those of you who don't know, I originally started the beta off, and I believe Bronze 2 was like my original rank, just hopping in solo queue and, you know, still trying to learn Valorant. By the end of the beta, on its final day, I was Gold 3. So most of that was solo queuing, or at least, you know, either solo queuing or playing with 1 or 2 people. I promise you, you can get out of those low ranks. It's not that hard. In any case, though, I hope that you learned at least something from these, or if you didn't necessarily learn something, it at least brought something to your attention that you can fix in your own gameplay. And of course, if you just want to, you know, pass this off and ignore it, then, you know, to each his own. But in the end, you will do better if you follow these little tips. Take it easy, guys.
One enemy remaining. 4.
Last one, heaven, with an op.